Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm dragonka3n. I'm probably most known for running Angel of Darkness, but this time I'm not. So this is Tomb Raider Legend, one of the most fondly remembered Tomb Raider games, I believe. Story is pretty simple. It's about Lara losing her mother and trying to find her through any means necessary. And she encounters mystical artifacts along the way. This run will be glitchless 100%. It's a little bit misleading because you would think 100% glitchless run is very, very long. Not in this case. This game is very short. So this 100% glitchless run is only approximately 2 hours long, a little bit less. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Timer starts when I skip the first cutscene and ends when I exit Croft Manor at the very end. Are we ready? Is everything good to go?
Yeah, take it away when you're ready.
Alright. Easy difficulty because, you know, we're newbies. That's just how speedrunners do. And yes, I will overwrite my save. Okay, so timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
I've been looking for certain artifacts.
So we're going to be picking up every single secret, hopefully. The only thing scary that can happen is me collecting a secret and then dying. So that's the first skip that I just did. It's actually not as hard as it looks. It can be messed up, but it's not that bad. So we've already got 3 secrets. Moving swiftly. Here's possibly the hardest trick in this category, as at the very beginning. That should work. Yep, that was actually very close. I was kind of scared it wouldn't work. And yeah, we can just pass right next to that rock. Oops. Alright, come on, Lara. There you go. So there's something really funny in this game. Couldn't quite show it exactly there, but if you just roll into enemies, they just kind of fall over. Sometimes they get knocked in the air, and it's probably one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in these games. Okay, that was actually pretty unlucky. Never mind, I have to climb up the other way.
Just very quick, we have $20 from Portugal Raider who says, doing charity work while watching Tomb Raider. Sign me up. Good luck to all the runners. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alright, bit of an unlucky start, but hey. Everything's fine. So you can actually crouch after pulling something with your grapple to cancel out of the grapple faster. Normally you have to wait a little bit longer. And the cool thing in this game about artifacts is that you can actually grab them with your grapple. Well, the bronze ones, because there are 3 types. The most common ones are the bronze ones. Those ones you can grab with your grapple, and then there are silver ones and gold ones. Those 2 you cannot grab with your grapple. You have to get them legit. So you're gonna see me doing a bunch of rolls, especially while holding my guns out, because whilst you're holding your guns out, you can roll pretty much infinitely without Lara stopping, as long as you keep spamming the roll button. And it's a pretty useful thing. It's actually a little bit different from the movement in the rest of this trilogy. In the next game after this, well, next game in the trilogy, not in the marathon, Tomb Raider Anniversary, you actually have to do swan dives and backwards handsprings in order to move fastest. Here it's not required because the forward roll is just as fast. And for some reason in the next games they nerfed the speed of the forward roll. But in this game it is pretty much the fastest way to move around, and it's easy and pretty intuitive.
What's all this stuff for?
So this is the first level, Bolivia. This is just kind of a tutorial. Not entirely tutorial, but you know, just a nice little introduction level. There are 8 levels in total in the main game. The last one is once again Bolivia. You revisit it, but only the last section for a boss fight. And then in this run, because we have to pick up all the artifacts, we also visit Lara's home, the Croft Manor, which actually has the most artifacts.
Is that a skull of a monkey or a person? Spooky. Cunning.
These traps are pretty scary, but once you know how they work, they're not that hard to get around.
Looks like you're going forward. Yes, but how?
With patience and persistence.
Patience indeed. So here you can do a little swag strat, get up here and get this artifact. And funny thing is, you can actually shoot the crates in this game to move them. Overshot this one a little bit. Oh, come on, Lara, grab it. And here we have a tiny little trick. This category is actually filled with tiny tricks, whereas any percent is mostly just a few big tricks. So you actually don't have to jump. Normally you'd have to jump from there, but you actually don't need to, if you just time your jump right.
So just to announce, we had a $5 donation from Catalina, who says, "Love you and good luck, Dragon. Love heart."
Thank you, Kat. I appreciate the love. So unfortunately, I didn't shoot the box enough times and it didn't fall onto the pressure plate. And sadly, you can only pull it, so it slows us down a little bit. I'm gonna roll over this one, which activates the cutscene but doesn't fully push it down. The reason why this is useful is because we want to get the artifact all the way up there. And for that, we need to time this puzzle exactly right. It is not that tight, but you still need to time it. And unfortunately, if you get on the pressure plate normally and the cutscene activates, you will most likely be too late to get the artifact, as the gate will get raised too far up. So I should probably mention that this is the first game in the trilogy that started the different kind of Tomb Raider that original fans knew, because this is the first game that Crystal Dynamics made for the franchise. So it controls a bit differently. And we have QuickTime events. So the interesting thing about QuickTime events in this game
And
is
still
that
breathing, yes.
you can actually mash them if you know the inputs. Now here you might have noticed that I did something that is not entirely intended, but there's nothing wrong with it as it's not considered a glitch. Just kind of jump onto that pole, I suppose. It has a pretty big hitbox at the top. You can just jump on it and be fine. Normally it saves you some time to get through this, but in this category it only really helps you with cheesing
If that's the case, it's not a
the
sight
enemy.
I'm keen on witnessing.
But it's still useful. I like this strat. And what I just did there is probably something that a lot of people don't know as well. You can actually jump to that platform earlier than you would expect. Normally the game kind of wants you to jump up one more level and then get down, but you can also get it this way. Now, if you remember, I did say that rolling is the fastest way of going in this game, but I don't do it on this bridge exclusively, because if you go too fast, it kind of bugs out and just sort of kills you. And we don't want that to happen. So I just take it safe.
We have a $20 donation from Poppy, who says, "Good luck, never seen this level before in AOD Kappa."
Thank you, Poppy. Love you too. And we have our first level done, so we got all the secrets. Let's move on to Peru. So here we have a pretty tricky secret to get. A few people might have missed that on their first playthrough. Kind of have to explore for it. Here we have a pretty big fight
Zip, keep an eye on herself.
with a few secrets here and there. And here we have another great use of the grapple. I wonder where my last enemy is. I know there is one somewhere. Because... ah, there we go. There he is. The cutscene doesn't activate until you have gotten rid of all of them. So this game has a lot of flashy things you can do in combat. Sadly, most of them are not fast, but they are very effective. Alright. We have another secret here. A very sneaky one. Again. Gonna get some grenades here because we're gonna need them later on to actually do a small skip. Not necessarily against the enemies because they're not really that big of a problem. Find her. Soldiers are really, really serious and harsh. But we don't really care about them. We just kind of ignore them. And this is one of the two bike segments in the game which are, you know, arguably they're the less good parts of this game. They kind of slow down the pacing a little bit. They're just kind of annoying auto-scrollers, but they're not that bad. The only thing that can actually get kind of rough is the RNG. You can save or gain some time, or save or lose some time by getting or not getting exploding barrels, which help you deal with enemies a lot faster. And unfortunately, they're entirely based on luck whether they spawn or not, except for the very first one, which is guaranteed because you need to blow up the fence in order to pass. And an interesting tech during these bike segments is that you can actually kind of control your speed a little bit better than you would think. So if you just let go of forward, Lara stops pretty quickly, slows down immensely, and this helps you in random situations where the enemies just kind of run into you. The problem with enemies running into you, normally, is that they usually run into you with a lot of momentum and knock you very far away. And if they knock you into something, there's a very, very high chance that you will just lose all of your health instantly. But if you stop... Okay, that was strange. That was pretty random. Haven't really seen that before. Anyway, as I was saying, if you stop holding forward as they're bonking into you, you can slow down, and if you bonk into something, it's not gonna hurt as much. If at all. Sometimes it doesn't take any health actually, which is convenient. It's just a bit of an annoyance because it does still slow you down. And this is the very last part of the segment, the bike segment I mean. Some trucks are gonna appear in front of us and we're just gonna have to get on one of them. It is entirely scripted on which one we have to get to, so there's no worry in that. All we have to do is just shoot some bullets, you know, traditional Tomb Raider stuff. You can mess around a little bit with spamming left and right. Kind of a funny thing. After that bike segment, we get to a flashback scene where we control young Lara. So we cannot permanently roll with her because she doesn't have guns, but she does have flares.
Oh, Sarah.
Flares let you roll the same way as if you had guns, but the difference is Lara tosses them away after a few seconds, so you have to kind of be mindful of what you're doing and for how long with the flare. This is mostly only significant in any percent category, but it can save a few seconds here as well if you're handling your rolls properly.
Hey, I think I see a
Here we
light.
have an unskippable cutscene, sadly,
Amanda?
and then we're gonna follow it up with a chase sequence. It's not a very long one, but it is a chase sequence, and it's pretty cool actually. I'd say it's pretty well done for its time, because we're not gonna see Lara directly as we control her this time. We're actually gonna see the camera through the monster's eyes, and so it makes it a bit more exciting. But as you can see, we can kind of outrun him pretty fast. Also, yeah, that's a little bit of a random thing. Your controls get reversed there in that cutscene. It's a bit strange. Alright, that should do it. Normally you're supposed to escort this ball all the way down there, but if you just calculate your angle and how far up you push it, you can get it to stick on the pressure plate and not really have to do much. So we only had 2 secrets to collect as young Lara, and we got the second one just now. And this is also the very end of the young Lara section. And back to adult Lara. So we can actually control her for a split second there before the cutscene, which is kind of
Same
interesting.
way as the water, I hope. If you get a call from Anaya, patch her through straight away. I'm a little concerned about leaving her by herself.
I'll keep her company.
So the ruins we just left when we were young Lara, we're gonna revisit because we believe that our old friend Amanda actually survived the massacre which occurred, even though as young Lara we saw her getting buried alive. It seems that things are not quite what they seem, and she's actually alive. Ah yeah, and I don't really have to worry about my health too much here, I can just heal. Good old Tomb Raider. You can stay underwater for a very, very long time. Alright, don't forget about the silver secret here. That little opening is pretty tricky to get through. Optimally, you can get through it without getting stuck, but it's
The King Arthur.
extremely
Yeah,
precise, so it's not really worth going for.
Arthur, a little help here?
It's the same story.
It's kind of
A
like
youth
something
unaware
that you're
of the world,
glad if
rises
it
from
randomly
its
happens,
streets
but
to become a
you
wise
can't really
king
count on
with
it
the help of a
happening
faithful Lord's
consistently.
magical staff or sword. And afterwards he's transported to paradise.
Here we have another quick time event.
Legends. The Great Flood, for example. Everyone's got that one too.
You see a parallel between Amanda and Werner. That's actually kind of cool. I've never thought of that, but you do make a point. Oh no, I didn't push it in time. I thought I did. Apparently it didn't register in time. It's fine. I can just make the good old excuse of looking at Twitch chat, right? Alright, let's pay attention this time. And easy. Yes, imagine dying to a quick time event in 2020, boys. And girls.
Why, thank you.
Wow, this place is amazing.
could be right.
Oh, I like that one.
I shot
It was
the ball a little bit
nice in the way.
too many times. It's kind of tricky to tell based on the momentum,
Wow. That must have impressed the villagers back then.
but no matter, because we're gonna try to do something pretty cool. Normally, you have to climb up these things and get that ball up top. But if I just aim this grenade correctly... First try, here we go. Let's go. So we can get the ball to fall down here with a very well aimed grenade. It's pretty precise actually. And we don't have to climb up. Saves quite a bit of time.
So the shaman would be Merlin, and the staff would be whatever the hell King Arthur's sword was called. It's called coincidence. Funny name for a sword.
Yeah, just imagine hitting a hard trick first try and
Just let me know
not
if you
landing a
want
quick time
someone
event.
closer to it.
Weird champ.
How will you make it back with the floor missing?
I suppose I'll have to take the high road back.
Alright, so we're just gonna climb back from where we came, but we do actually have to make a detour because, as you might have noticed, we have not obtained a golden artifact in this level yet, and so we're gonna do that right now. We have to take this very slow vine across. It's kind of inconvenient, but sadly it's the only way to get to this ledge. Yeah, also the camera kind of fights you sometimes in this game. There are two things you can do about it. You can either submit and just change your direction that you're going. Or you can just fling your mouse constantly and hope that the camera stays the way you want it. It's just two different things you can do. Okay, so we want this ball over here. Oops. And there we go. So now, unfortunately, we still have to climb all the way back up. But that's the price of getting a golden artifact. If you want the gold, you gotta work for it. Sometimes. Not in every level, actually.
I don't see anything. You? Think you should go down there?
Just kind of swan dive here. The quickest way down. Now I could go for a very RNG heavy strat here, but I'm not going to. Ideally, you can go straight for this rope over here and climb all the way up. Sadly, the guards have this special attack, let's call it, that they can do every now and then, and it's completely random when they do it. You can tell that it happens because they target Lara with a laser, and it's very hard to avoid. It's nearly impossible to avoid it if you're just doing your everyday things. Well, everyday as in Tomb Raider, of course. But if they do manage to hit you with that laser, like so, you actually fall to the ground, and that's, you know, you don't want that to happen. Especially when there's so many enemies in an area like that one. So here we just have to deal with this ambush. So here you could see the slow motion mechanic, which is actually pretty useful in the normal playthrough because it makes you deal way more damage. Only problem is, because it's slow motion, it's not very ideal for a speedrun. And you can't really cancel out of it either, you just have to take it. Alright, normally this is a very funny thing we do here in glitched speedruns. You can actually left roll up this wall, up there, but it's considered a glitch so we don't do it here.
Someone's coming.
Oh right, I thought this was a cutscene. My bad. We can actually just grapple this guy down and deal with him pretty quickly. You can also just shoot at him, but it's way slower. So now we're in Japan, the 3rd level, and it starts pretty chill,
Lara, got a call from Nishimura.
but it's gonna get action-packed pretty quickly
Bartender will hook you up with him, though.
Ever predictable. Good evening.
after I get to the next cutscene.
Ah, Lady Croft. He is in his office down the hall behind you. I will let him know you're coming.
Thank you.
Actually, I lied. You have to get to another cutscene. And here we go. Give me that rifle. So normally, these enemies actually get scared of the grenade and try to jump away from the explosion. But if you keep shooting at them, they will just kind of forget that the grenade is right next to them.
That's why we have to view the problem from a different angle. Namely, the root.
So it helps you deal with them pretty quickly.
To the lift, and I'm on my way.
Yep, janky camera. That's fine.
That building across the street, that's Takamoto's.
He's likely to be on the top floor. This is going to require some creativity.
Nishimura's gonna bill you for that.
It's not a party until something gets broken.
The dialogue kind of has to catch up to me a little bit right now, but we're fine. So there are a bunch of these artifacts in Japan where you actually have to shoot a box and then whoops. Hello? Okay. It's all fine, guys. Lara just kind of wanted to float around a little bit. It's all good. It's all good. She's just enjoying this event as much as you guys, hopefully. I hope everyone's doing well.
Listen to that. Not 16 minutes, 3 seconds.
Lara, this is crazy people stuff. Don't ever do that again.
Not on that bike, I won't.
Alright, moving swiftly on, we have another sneaky artifact here, placed right below your normal path, because you're actually supposed to go up top. Oops. Camera kind of stopped my momentum. She grabbed that a little bit weirdly. Thankfully, I didn't jump instantly. Alright, we're not gonna have any secrets for a little bit here. We're just gonna do some parkouring around. And we can actually skip that grapple part that was right in front of me. And here we have another skip that I just barely got. It saves a second or two, but pretty cool. Normally you would have to rotate on the grapple, and it takes a little bit of time because rotating is very slow in this game. But why rotate when you can just do a YOLO jump and get across?
Are they? It's not like they don't know you're there.
You'll see them when I do.
Here we have another silver. And there's a pretty big area here. Oops. Come on, Lara. Alright, they were nice enough not to shoot me. Okay. Thank you, Lara. I just needed her to open that. These cabinets are a little bit tricky to open. Sometimes they don't really open up for you.
She's never cared for TV much.
Sometimes you can actually get kind of unlucky with these. Yep, this is what I mean. So because a lot of enemies here use a shotgun, they can actually stun you right as you're jumping or grappling or doing anything really.
What a lovely
And it can create some pretty
Uh-oh. You know what that means?
unpleasant situations.
Hydronate.
So fun fact, you're actually supposed to grapple the platform up top as well, but you can also shoot it, and it takes slightly less time. Because normally you cannot reach with a grapple from up top. Okay, that was strange. She was actually supposed to target the swinging pole from here. But that's fine. So here we're going to do another small trick. You're also supposed to move this platform, but
Heights don't bother me, Alistair.
They make me.
you don't have to if you get creative.
Like I told her in Bolivia.
I'll try my best to keep my chin up, but I do need to concentrate, if you don't mind.
Hurry up, Laura. It's not gonna hold. Hurry, Laura. They'll snap at any second.
So for these swinging poles, in order to jump instantly, you actually have to spam jump at just the right time, otherwise it actually doesn't work. It's a pretty tough timing, even if you are spamming. You have to start spamming jump right as she grabs the pole. Here we have another hidden silver. And normally you're supposed to deal with that turret in
Could have been better. Let's not do that again.
some way, shape, or form. There are actually a few different ways you can deal with it. But on easy difficulty, you can just kind of roll past it and everything's cool. Hello. Alright.
Okay, Takamoto's split. What next?
So that's probably something a lot of people don't know. I myself didn't know it for a long time. You can actually just toss a grenade at this glass and it will also shatter it. Normally you're supposed to grapple that dragon statue and break it using momentum. But you can also just toss a grenade at it. It's kind of funny. Kind of anticlimactic, but it's also funny. And weirdly enough, destroying the glass also triggers the dragon statue getting a little bit destroyed. But I swear it's not my doing. It's the game. Oh yeah, that's also funny. So the boss, Takamoto, he sometimes likes to insult us before we even get to him. Kind of random. Creates some funny situations. My clever tongue is right here, Takamoto. Okay, so this is kind of an annoying boss. He likes to run away. But this should be a pretty good position. And we got him. Alright. Japan done. All secrets. Moving on to Ghana. Which is, in my opinion, the best looking level in this game.
That's not so peculiar.
Also might be the most fun to explore. You have some of these sneaky secrets underwater, for example. Yeah, the cabinets are kind of janky
Absolutely perfect.
in the Japan level.
Missed Ghana.
But the trick is, from my experience, if you approach them from the side a little bit, then you have a much higher chance of actually opening them. I'm not sure why it works that way, but it just does. So we're gonna open up this puzzle.
Alistair should really have a look at this.
Well, he's still trying to figure out where these sword pieces originally came from.
And Zip got cut off because we landed underwater. That's an interesting feature in this game. If you land underwater, the dialogue gets cut off because as they will say in the England level, which is going to be 2 levels from now, they can't really hear each other too well underwater.
So what kind of ancient artifact you got there?
The modern.
Okay, I was kind of scared there. Usually the water pushes you forward immediately, but
My father's sketchbook.
I had a little bit less momentum than usual. Still enough to make it through. That was also some interesting randomness, actually. So that guard usually
Not very effective for
doesn't really attack you.
Something.
You just kind of sneak up on him and you can one-shot him. But this time he felt like attacking me, I guess. I've actually, to be honest, I've never had that happen to me, but hey, that's classic speedrunning. Stuff happens that you don't expect. Nice little zoom we got on that guy.
running again. Congratulations, you got your wish. The place is a death trap.
It needed a woman.
Cameraman is just kind of checking the quality of his teeth. You know, we're just making sure that everyone gets dental care before we shoot them, of course. Alright, we still made it to the swinging pole just in time. So normally you can also jump to this rope from that movable platform, but it doesn't always happen the way you want it, and you also have to rotate, so it's a little bit tedious. And yeah, ropes are pretty infamous in Tomb Raider games for not working properly, so they're kind of risky to go for if you don't have to.
This channel runs directly down to the wheel.
Can't have a wheel without a couple thousand gallons of water.
No, it's simply not done.
So once again, we're abusing the fact that we can actually grapple bronze artifacts using the grapple. Sadly, you cannot do this in Anniversary because your grapple is not magnetic. It's just a standard old-fashioned grapple. So you cannot grapple any artifacts in that game. But it was a pretty cool concept in this game, I'd say. And here we have another pretty easily missable secret if you don't pay attention. Usually, the property of the artifact, well, I'd say the material, rather, not only depends on what rarity they are, but also how hard it is to actually get them. Normally, bronze ones are the most common and are easiest to get, and then silver is more difficult and more rare, and then gold is the least common and hardest to get. Now that doesn't necessarily mean gold artifacts are always hard to get in this game, but most of them are designed so that you have to do some clever puzzle or pay attention throughout the entire level for small details, and pretty well thought out for the most part. I like the idea. Here we're just gonna do some water puzzle. Can we still get it? Nah. That's okay. I got a little bit too greedy there, but... Ah yes, Underworld's a pretty cool game as well. So funnily enough, as this cutscene is activating, you can jump down and the game will spawn the water for you, and you will just magically be underwater.
Let's have a look.
And we can do some pretty long drops in this game. That was very unfortunate. So that is a very low chance of happening, but the trick is here that you swan dive off this ledge, and Lara is actually supposed to grab the swinging poles. But I guess we'll just do it normally. There are times when she kind of just refuses to do it, like now. I've actually only had it happen once outside of today, but
Much better.
You know, you scare me.
You may want to close your eyes.
okay, I'm just kind of trying to fight the camera so that I can see, because if you mistime your jump, she will still not grab the swinging pole, so it's a little bit weirdly designed, but oh well. Okay, that was even weirder. See, this is what I meant by ropes being a little bit rebellious in Tomb Raider games, as you can see. Okay, I will wait a little bit longer. See, the problem with these games is that you cannot manually grab things and what you grab and from where and how big your jump is kind of scripted in most areas. So it makes some stuff random. You have a little bit less control over things.
There's no avoiding these.
This isn't gonna fly, Laura. If one of
They
So that's a
don't
little
come like
cool
lightning.
thing you can do. Right as Lara says, there's no avoiding these, you can just avoid them.
I must install some of these in the gym.
So those things actually hurt like a truck on harder difficulties, but on easy, even if you get hit by them, most likely you will be fine.
what is it? You hear something?
I feel something.
And here we have a nice little nod to Indiana Jones. Not a very long chase sequence though. And here I'm going to attempt rolling off the...
Escaping death with a game,
Okay.
I see.
Game is not cooperating. Actually, it's not really the game, it's Lara, I suppose. She just doesn't feel like it. There we go. So that's what it looks like. If you roll off an edge, Lara will automatically grab onto the nearest thing. If there's something within grab range. The funny part is that Lara's grab range is actually way bigger than you would expect. Or rather, her target range.
Zip, Alistair, do you read me? I don't like this.
And here we have another small skip. You can just kind of jump onto the railing of that platform, get up here.
Hello? Are you chaps getting any of this?
So fun fact, we're playing this game with VSync on because of two things. VSync off makes you kind of glide down stairs and slopes when you swan dive, and it looks a little bit glitchy. It's not considered a glitch, but it is sketchy if you ask me. It looks a little strange. But for me, the biggest reason is oh yeah, we have another secret that you can just get like so. So the biggest reason why I do not prefer VSync off, even though you have more FPS, is two things actually. For one, when you're jumping around on these swinging poles, if you turn around with one of Lara's school unique animations, with the fast turnaround, the game will kind of bug out and she will target the swinging pole in a weird way where you can't jump off of it. Okay, that was pretty clutch. If they throw a grenade on the platforms, I mean the bridges, they just fall down and you kind of fall. That was pretty unlucky as well, but that's fine. So yeah, swinging poles become a bit slower if you're playing with VSync off. And not only that, but these bridges that you just saw me cross are automatically destroyed if you're playing with VSync off, sadly. So again, we had another clever little puzzle with the game kind of psyching you out. And hopefully we're gonna have another quick boss battle, if I don't mess it up. So Oh, that's not good.
Don't waste those, Lara.
I will not be able to deal enough damage in time. Actually, I'm just gonna quit and reload, because that resets him.
Bet you wish you could do that, huh? Hey, you have some.
There we go.
Mine are bigger.
He is supposed to jump down immediately. I don't know why he didn't the first time. He's kind of random, but it's fine. Yeah, that Jaguar was kind of troll.
All those without.
Wanted to get some screen time. I won't deny him.
Very nice, Lara, but you've just leapt from the frying pan into a nest of hornets.
So this is Kazakhstan, the halfway point of the game. And this is one of the longer levels. Possibly the longest level in the game. Because you have yet another motorcycle segment coming up in a bit. So we're just gonna toss a grenade at these boxes. Normally you're supposed to shoot them, but it's way faster to just toss a grenade at them. So we just do that. And as you just saw there, you cannot grapple silver artifacts. So in this first half of Kazakhstan, we only had these 3 secrets to collect.
Whoops. Satellite feed showing your train's about to roll.
And we're approaching the motorcycle bit. But we're not quite there yet. We still have to fight a wave of enemies. But if we get lucky, we can get through them really quickly. Here's a fun little timing thing you can do. If you land on that platform, then you won't take any damage. If you miss it, you do. Oh yeah, also if you're playing with VSync off, you have some janky stuff like Lara getting on the bike in a weird angle and then the game warps her onto the bike. But yeah, it just looks strange if you're playing the game with VSync off. So this is yet again motorcycle bit. The second of the 2. So the final one. There will be none after this. Well, that was a very traumatic exit. Let's call it that. And again, you might have noticed that I stopped holding forward there to slow myself down, because if I would have kept holding it, I would have ran right into the sliding motorbike of the enemy, like right now. And yeah, that was also pretty unlucky. If you keep going at them with full speed, you just get knocked into something and die. It's unfortunate. Now, another interesting technique you can do, well, besides ramming enemies over, I guess, is you can actually time your shots during these bike segments to deal more damage. So if you just hold it down, it takes a bit longer to kill enemies most of the time, unless you're very, very close to them. However, if you time your shots with the serves as the targeter.
But I think I saw a path off to the right up ahead.
If you time your shots with those arrows as they get closer to the circle around the enemies when you're targeting them, then you will deal more damage and kill them quicker. So we're approaching the second part of this section. This motorcycle bit is divided into 3 parts. 2 of these auto scrollers, and then at the end we have some chase, I guess you could call it. We're gonna be looking to get on a train. And here, just like in Peru, we can abuse these barrels to eliminate large groups of enemies all at once. But it's actually kind of harder to do on this level, and it's even more RNG where they are placed than where the enemies are. In Peru, you just kind of have to hope that you get them, and if you get them, that's great, it's free time save. But in this level, even if you do get them, it's not exactly guaranteed that the enemy's path will line up with them, so you cannot always utilize them as much as you want to. Or as well as you want to, rather. So like right there, I also used it, but it was of no significance basically because nobody was near it. So right there, once again, I slowed down a little bit because I was kind of afraid that the car would push me into the trees, and if it does, I just lose all my health instantly and I have to restart from the checkpoint, which is very long and tedious. Now, Alara's targeter during these motorcycle bits is a little bit strange. You sometimes see her prioritizing targets that are further away than ones that are closer. But I guess you just kind of have to deal with them. Deal with that. What are they doing? I'm not sure if I've seen that before. They just kind of... the 2 cars just kind of went on top of each other. I'm getting pretty unlucky with this motorcycle segment, actually. Lots of vehicles in my path, but that's okay, as long as I'm careful. And we're done with the second segment. Now, for the train. So if you play this game with next-gen content on, which it's actually kind of hard to set up because it crashes quite often in certain areas unless you're lucky. Well, there are fixes for them online, but it's still a little bit sketchy. The issue is with, for example, some parts like this, like right here, this little ramp that I'm moving on right now, is actually almost completely transparent if you have next-gen content turned on. So that's a little bit inconvenient and a little bit frustrating as well if you're trying to focus, but we don't have any issues with the normal textures. And here we're gonna do a little bit precise, but Pretty cool trick. It's not gonna look sketchy at all, trust me.
I feel like I just lived through a train wreck. How about you?
First try, very
Climbers
smooth,
are
very
ready
smooth.
inside, and the door's sealed.
So now what?
There's a vent on the
So
wall
normally,
right at the
you're
corridor
obviously
door.
not supposed to
The
do
fan's
that.
on, it's got the power on.
But if you maneuver yourself just right, you can get on top of that train and just roll on it. And if you play on a harder difficulty, you will need to heal. Luckily, on easy, you don't. Well, you can, but it's not really necessary.
It looks as if you've stumbled into another tomb after
Love this outfit.
all. What he's doing in here.
I think this was also my favorite as a kid.
But he's frozen to death, the poor fellow. It's hardly a proper end for a scientist. It is much colder in here than it was outside.
I just like how this, what would you call this actually? Is it a sweater? Yeah, I guess it's a sweater. Yeah, I like the way it looks. Cool. So here we actually have to just not jump, because the secret is right here.
Things in there won't be getting the juice they need.
The heater must be one of them.
Kind of an evil thing to do from the devs. If you're too good at the game, you will miss this. So that jump is actually very tricky. You need to press grapple as soon as you press jump.
Look at the lights. She's only found the emergency power.
Well, not exactly as soon as you press jump, but as soon as you can press grapple after jump, you have to press it, because otherwise you will be too close to the grapple point and she will not be able to target the ledge as you jump off of the grapple, because you're too far away. Right there, I also did a small little trick,
That should do it.
getting on top of that railing.
There you go. I wonder if that's toxic. I guess it's coolant. But who knows what kind of lethal crap the Soviets were using.
I'd rather not find out firsthand.
So here we can do some mad strats.
Get up above it.
God, it burns!
We can just like kind of avoid some climbing. Not all of it, but some. The big gun thing.
Gun thing. How space
Can we get some Pog champs in the chat for the big gun thing, please? So normally that shield wielding guard is very annoying, but if you can manage to get rid of him with a nice grenade, then
get hit by
I'm not gonna
electrical arcs.
bother with that guy.
Who said it wasn't running?
That's just the
He's too far away to hurt me.
The tower was on. You'd know it.
And if I were the energy source, where would I be?
These electrical thingamajigs are pretty dangerous. If you even go near them, they will knock you down. Like so. I kind of got a little bit greedy there, but I didn't think I was actually gonna hit it. Kind of unlucky. That's just kind of my relationship with these things, actually. I always get hit by them at least once. Actually, I've only gotten hit by them once every time. It's fate. It has to happen once. So normally you're supposed to actually shoot that barrel, but I find it kind of janky for me personally, so I just toss a grenade in there and all good.
Can the tower be powered up from here?
Not without the core. Looks like it's not here.
Yeah, that was a shocking
Guess it's supposed to reach
surprise.
the floor for.
But
What are those hanging cords and sockets?
I'm sorry.
Decoupled high current
Where am I?
cables. You're lucky they're off, or you'd be standing in the middle of a painful light parade. Okay, there's the core up ahead.
So as you can see, some guards just don't really bother with you as you're sneaking up behind them.
Doesn't look like it has a charge, but you might be able to juice it from the control room above you.
There's heavy debris on the tracks. I don't see how I can...
Hello, Amanda.
You're so smart, Lara. Do you know why the Soviets called their project Carbonic?
It's the castle where Lancelot sought the Holy Grail. Not the first connection to Arthurian myth I've come across.
Myth, she calls it. A limited word for a limited perspective. You were always such the scientist. You're probably right at home with all these Tesla contraptions, aren't you?
As much as anyone, I suppose.
The Russians activated a power in the artifact that literal minds can't handle, and it destroyed them. So don't push the wrong buttons.
You'd better not either.
But I know which ones are the right ones.
You've learned to read Russian since I last saw you, Amanda.
She hung up. What the heck?
Thank you, Footy, for the good luck. Have a good night. Sleep well.
That's how you do it.
Is that supposed to stop at some point?
It's not charged all the way. I don't know what's wrong.
How am I supposed to move it if I can't touch it?
The cable on your grapple is insulated.
I like how Lara kind of doesn't like that idea. Grappling this electrical thing.
Okay, that's how it works.
And I probably wouldn't like it either if I was her.
Here we go.
Let's try to get boosted in here.
That's how you open that door. Man, I should have worked on mass marketing this tech. Tesla was genius.
I prefer doors. What's happened here?
Weird. The core must have powered these cables somehow. And those rails in the wall are the most convenient conductors around.
We actually have to be kind of quick here because the box is following me. But we got it. We got through. We cannot really target it with the grapple, so I'm just gonna kind of wait here, holding this door open. That was pretty optimal, actually. Oh. Don't let go, Lara.
Cool. Now all you have to do is get the panel out of the way.
And here we go. Slightly mistimed. It's a little strange.
You think he stashed more of the sword somewhere?
Possibly, but the map is useless without a reference point.
I'll work on it. Going offline.
Splendid.
I don't think I've ever been happier. Show me what you
Alright, just gonna get those things off. Let's just try to get this on there. Never mind. What about that? That might still work. It actually should. Yeah, there we go. Oops, I forgot about the actual platform. Omega Lula. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. For real though, how's everyone doing? Well, that was actually kind of scary. It's nice to hear. Yeah, big gun thing. Whoops. I'm doing pretty good. You know, nice little, Okay. Well, I'm getting pretty unlucky with these jumps today. Marathon luck, as they call it, right? So, fun fact about these things, if you utilize your momentum well enough, that's, you don't have to shoot most of those, most of these things. That's not good, but we can still get through. Nice to hear, Kai.
Stay out of its way, Lara.
Alright, so this is kind of a boss fight, but not really. You just kind of pull these 4 switches and then do some magic and grapple the sword piece at the top, and that's the end of the level. Proto 2.0. This one takes a lot less time. And there's a bit more action involved. Okay, that was unlucky.
I haven't got a clue. I know a little about Tesla technology. This place is
And there we go. All collectibles.
Either housekeeping should be fired, or no one's been inside for months.
So this is the level I was talking about, England. And it's also pretty cool.
This place has seen better days.
It's been condemned since the death of the owner, one Professor Worth. I shudder to think that
Although it does have a very annoying collectible later on, but I'll mention it when we get there.
And we have power.
I'll talk about why it's not really our best friend. Now you might be wondering why I jumped straight into the electricity there. And the answer is actually because it's just faster. It's faster to get stunned and then just jump away than to actually climb across.
the real Merlin would roll around in the mud and
Whoa,
look at you.
calm down, Lara.
Generous
Calm
by
down.
calling it mud.
There's no difference between stupid and charming, is there?
You know, I feel like Lara is a little bit rebellious today. She's a bit nervous, I'd say. You know, with all these people watching, this marathon happening. I'd be nervous too. It's a fun little thing you can do, actually. Normally you're supposed to pull that sword thing over there and activate a cutscene that shows you that this door doesn't work properly. But you can actually just chuck a grenade right at it and solve the issue that way. So the grapple is kind of weird here, but we got it.
Well, if he went to Avalon, then whose tomb's supposed to be here?
Maybe the grunting Saxon or the Roman fascist that Alistair believes the whole legend was built around.
Alright, we're
This is
gonna
where the truth
try to get a little bit
is
cheeky with this
buried.
box puzzle because
Into a warehouse.
Fitting. There's been so little
it takes a little bit of time normally, but if you do it smart, you can do it pretty quickly.
Professor Worth's
Like
favourite.
so.
If he had to close an exhibit for renovations, at least he picked the most boring one.
Lara? Like I said, she's a bit nervous. That's okay, we got there.
This must be our kindly professor's office space,
Tell him as spottily as his reputation.
said the pot
Oops.
to the kettle.
Let me just clear this. So grenades are pretty fun in this game. You can use them for a lot of stuff. Mainly just blowing obstacles up that you might not think you can actually blow up. You might think that the devs didn't account for you trying this stuff, but they actually did. Which is pretty cool, if you ask me.
I've seen enough tombs in my life to know when I'm looking at a cenotaph.
Say who?
A
So
diversion.
yet again,
This place is trying to.
you might think that you need to just move those boxes away, but you can just
That's the problem.
chuck a grenade right at them and be on your way.
Now this is better.
Nice. You don't want to demolish anything important.
So another interesting thing here is, if you bonk into this gate, and you keep holding forward, the game will push you away. But if you stop holding forward, then it won't. So you can be faster by not holding forward, which is kind of strange.
I decided to take the slow way down instead.
Should have told that to the forklift.
So we're approaching the secret that I mentioned. And the reason why this is not our best friend
Please, Alistair.
is
Take
because
some concentration.
Yeah, pipe down, Alistair. Or I won't let you sit up front with me anymore.
we actually get this artifact after we get the checkpoint, which makes it so that if we die, we will lose the artifact, but we won't be able to get back up there because there is no way back up there. So we just have to hope that we don't die. And it seems like we didn't. Cool. I was kind of worried about that because this section is a little bit janky and random things can happen.
That doesn't mean you don't have
But
to be quiet.
luckily everything's fine.
Looks like there's oil seeping into the water table.
So the problem is,
How long it's been burning?
the game only saves your collectibles if you get a checkpoint. So right now it's saved,
Wow.
but
You know you
right as I picked it up, it wasn't saved yet. So if I would have died to fall damage, I would have needed to pick that artifact up again. But the problem is there is no way to pick it back up if you die, because the ledges are missing and you cannot jump that high. So they kind of didn't account for that, unfortunately. So I would need to replay the level later just to get that secret. Which is, you know, it's
This looks like my garbage system.
not the best thing ever, but
Who killed those leaping through, Laura? There must be a way to
it didn't happen.
I certainly hope so.
Here we have yet again kind of a secret that's easy to miss, if you ask me. Oops, I double tapped. So here we have a pretty clever little puzzle regarding the golden collectible. So throughout the level you have these walls that are numbered, and you have to push them into the wall in order, and then when you will go back up to the surface, you'll on your way you'll be able to find the golden artifact. Pretty cool.
You're long jumping that.
So right here you're supposed to make a path of multiple boxes,
Trying just to hear you lads
but
squeal about it.
we don't need to. One is enough, especially if you play on easy. Which is the well-timed jump. Sometimes you can even get Lara to not take any damage, but it's kind of rare. It's more of a nice little convenient thing that can happen rather than something that you should expect.
You see that crate up on the shelf over there? You could use that on the pressure plate. It's not a crate, it's a coffin. Someone's revered ancestor is in there.
Okay. Well, okay. I suppose the chandelier's grapple hitbox was still active for some reason. That never really happens, to be honest. It's the first time I've seen that happen. But hey, it's Tomb Raider and it's a speed run, so anything can happen.
And here's your final resting place, sir.
If we're through having fun, it's time to get back to business.
So right here, there's also an artifact over here. The game kind of tries to pull you away from it if you pull the lever, but you can still get it.
I'll take this time to adjust some travel arrangements I made. It shouldn't take too long. Coward. Don't worry, Laura. I've still got an eye on you. Probably won't be able to hear each other too well when you're underwater, though.
There is a god.
Hey, I heard that.
Some nice little friendly banter going on. But, you know, this is the part of the game that some people didn't like. But to be honest, I never mind stuff like this. I think it's cool that it's in the game. It's something to fill the silence with. Makes it all the more lighthearted, since I feel like this game. I mean, the main story is a little bit dark, but the adventure itself and most of the game as you progress through, and the characters are pretty lighthearted. Well, the protagonists, I mean. And you know, sometimes you just kind of need that.
Will you look at that? Oh, this is brilliant.
That is interesting.
We can actually grapple this from here, and you see a swinging bar, but we actually don't need to use it. We can just jump straight to this slope and move on. And yet again, you can skip those upper ledges just by doing this jump. Probably not intentional on the dev's part, but we'll take it. It's a bit faster than doing it normally. It's a nice little shortcut. I went the wrong way. Trust me, guys, I'm very good at this game.
Where did they go? To find Avalon, perhaps. The quest for the Holy Grail. Lancelot, Galahad, Percival, and Bors. Their tombs are empty.
I was kind of messing around with the directions there a little bit because the camera likes to take control.
Perhaps it will help me instead.
I mean, the game likes to take control of the camera, and it becomes a little bit strange and hard to control. But it wasn't that bad this time. So after that puzzle, we're on our way to this surprise boss. This boss design's pretty cool, I'd say. For its time, you just have to do this 4 times, but it's pretty cool how you have to lure it with sound and then pull the trap on it. Rude. So if you stand on the opposite edge of the bridge, it's actually easier to grapple these bells, I guess you could call them. And you can press the crouch button once again to let go of the grapple faster. And the boss is finished. And we're approaching another QTE. I wonder what it's gonna be. Whoa, surprise, surprise! There are more than one. These sea monsters, I guess you could call them, are pretty scary actually. I used to be pretty scared of them as a kid. So you kind of have to climb this whole thing 3 times because turning around on ropes is so slow that you might as well just climb this again. Whoa. That is once again uncommon. I guess we have to resort to rotating after all. Come on. There you go, Lara. Maybe she's still nervous, you know? So since I didn't push in the second wall up top, I need to do it right now. But it's actually pretty convenient. You can just pull this box over here, take care of this guard, push the wall in, and be on your way. Now these walls actually take quite a bit of time to get pushed in properly. Okay, I think it's good. We have a sneaky guy right there. Whoa. They can surprise you with some quick melee attacks sometimes that will instantly stun you. Oh, that doesn't happen often. Usually they fall immediately. And if we did everything correctly, if I push this in, we should get the golden artifact. And there it is. Fun little thing, you can actually jump up to this platform from that broken wall part. You don't have to go around. And yeah, like I said, the melee attacks can get somewhat annoying because they stun you, well, knock you down, I guess. Oh, boy, he avoided it. Yeah, that's what I mean by the enemies getting scared of grenades and just jumping away. They're smart. unless you keep shooting at them. Then they reconsider.
Once again, we find ourselves on a mountain.
So the camera kind of tries to fight us again, but
And I doubt any
I'll
of that
just
snow and ice is stable.
keep moving my mouse.
Moving before it breaks on you.
I have done this before, you know.
You can actually kind of just roll down these slopes. You don't have to slide. Rolling is faster. Yet again, the cameras are a little bit strange with these platforms, but if you know what's gonna happen, then you can prevent bad things from happening. So there is a little trick you can do here by just jumping forward and still grabbing the sledge, but it started not working the last time I ran this, so I'm kind of scared to try it now.
Now what? Back down and up somewhere else?
There it is.
Man, that's a wreck. How old were you? 8 or 9?
Something like that.
I apologize if I'm not reading chat right now. Because of the quirky cameras, I kind of need to pay attention a little bit.
Look, now that's proper gear for getting to the top of a mountain.
That's one of Rutland's. I told him to mind his own business, and here he is following me to the ends of the earth.
Maybe he heard you wrong. You think he's in there? Look out!
That might kill it. It did.
Okay, be careful. You know this thing could go over the cliff any second.
I knew it then, and I know it now. I'll be fine.
So there's a skip that was discovered recently regarding this plane. Well, what's left of it, that is. But it's very difficult and wastes a lot of time if you miss it, so I'm not gonna go for it. I have also gotten soft locked while trying to go for it, so it's very risky. If you get soft lock, you would just have to restart the whole game. We can't really afford to do that in a marathon. Assuming that we don't land it, of course, which it's not the end of the world, but it is kind of challenging actually. Yes, QTE instead. Wrong weapon? It doesn't really matter though, not in this level. So here I'm gonna try to take advantage of where the checkpoint is placed. There we go. Because as I said, the game only saves you getting collectibles if you get a checkpoint. If you don't get a checkpoint and you get a collectible and you die, it will not be saved.
Not like this place at all. Don't slip.
I've got it.
And here is arguably the easiest golden artifact to get.
This must be where Santa's evil
You just
brother
kind of
lives.
have to take a small detour and it's right here. The first time I replayed this game in a long time, I was kind of trying to mix a few years and a long time. Anyway, the first time I replayed this game,
Bloody hell.
I actually didn't
Can't see Laura.
think this would be a
I'll
gold.
be fine.
I thought it would be a silver, and I completely forgot what the gold is, and I assumed that it was at the end of the level. But no, that one is actually the gold one.
Always say that, but you keep on looking.
Things, man. How do you know?
Here's a pretty tricky one. You might miss it. And here's what happens if we just roll into enemies casually. With all our grace, they just kind of fall over. Pretty funny, I'd say. And we can just ignore these soldiers, get the artifacts, and be on our way.
Not to rub it in, but I'm glad I'm at home.
Lovely.
So I feel bad for Lara every time I do this, but we kind of have to because we're in the middle of a speedrun over here. We can actually just swim here.
God, Lara, you must be absolutely freezing.
It drains your health, but it's not that bad.
My God,
It's bad for
it's
Lara.
so very cold. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Bad for her feelings, but not as bad for her health. At least on easy difficulty, it's not. Oh, I kind of got stopped by some invisible collision, sadly. But that's fine. So we have 2 more artifacts here. I'm actually just gonna do the puzzle right now. Oh. That's kind of a strange angle I grappled it in, so I have to do this a bit slower than usual, otherwise she will drop it. And yeah, for those of you that don't know, you can actually just kind of cheese this puzzle by just using your grapple.
Every object here has a symbolic function. If only the outside world were the same.
And yeah, it's a pretty interesting little skip. Kind of makes you wonder why the devs didn't think of a way to like make you not be able to do that. I guess it's still kind of challenging to do, like challenging enough that some people will not even give it a second thought after failing it.
Brother. Well, one thing at a time.
And now we have Excalibur.
Well, that's all it does.
Big hype.
Been a big waste of time.
Now I suppose it's time
Can
to
we
work
get
out
some
how to
pogs?
And now we know how young Arthur became king.
Alright, so I'm actually gonna just try to do a little swag thing over here. We can just kind of ignore what the game wants us to do and take this little detour. And we're finished with Nepal. Now we only have the final boss and then Croft Manor. Croft Manor will be a nice little chill area to lighten the mood because this final level is kind of intense and pretty annoying as well, actually. And you'll see why. A final boss is a little bit RNG with his attacks. And with its dodges, most importantly. Alright, here's the boss. Well, also, my attack just went straight through it there. So ideally you should hide behind these pillars to make its attacks whiff, or like collide with the pillars instead of hitting you. But sometimes it spawns it spawns its attack right under your feet, and there's not much you can do. So you can get kind of unlucky with its dodges. Sometimes it just dodges all your attacks. If we're getting pretty unlucky here, actually, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, that was actually my fault there. I attacked too fast twice in a row. And we have one more phase. But it's still not game over yet after that. We still have a nice little fun level after that, Craft Manor. I've been dodging his attacks pretty well, but it has also been dodging my attacks, so you know. And final boss defeated. And now we visit our home. Hello, Zip.
Hello, Zip.
So you can actually get this one immediately. And now we're approaching the bedroom, which is a nice little place where you can select different outfits for Lara. And just for the fun of it, I will select one. Give me classic gray. It's a nice clean. Nice little clean outfit. So fun fact, if you start holding forward too early after any kind of cutscene, like for example opening a door in the Craft Manor, if you start holding forward too early, Lara will just not move altogether, sadly. So you actually have to wait a little bit. And you will actually see some clever shortcuts here and there in Craft Manor as well. Mostly in the gym section. And not here. Here we can just We just have some small optimizations on what path we choose. Now, I actually forgot to go to the library, but we are going to go there. Ah, yes, yeah. I'll need to do a little detour because of that. But that's okay. That's why I cannot rotate the statues the way I wanted to. Because we missed a puzzle clue, and unfortunately, if you don't get a puzzle clue, you cannot complete certain puzzles. It's just kind of how it goes. Whoops, Lara. Watch your feet. What? Okay, that was a bit unfortunate. It's okay, we can salvage this. We can just do it again. It's strange that she actually targeted that from all the way over there. And actually, I'm going the wrong way. I mean, it's not entirely the wrong way, it's just not the fastest way. There is no wrong way in Croft Manor. Well, in a sense, there is, because you do have to find clues in certain order. But outside of that, you can, for example, this part of it you can visit as soon as you unlock your grapple and guns. If I actually forgot to do something here, but maybe it will. Oh, never mind. I don't have to. Just kidding. I debated all of you guys as much as I debated myself. So we can actually just pull this platform and then jump to it. It's a nice little shortcut. And once we did that, we can just jump over here. Do some more tricks. Some glitchless stuff, I believe. Ah, yes. And I believe we need the ladder here to face the other way. But
Looks like we probably have a couple more minutes, is it?
yeah, a couple more.
Okay.
If I land this jump, it won't really be an issue that I... Okay, never mind. It's a bit inconvenient. And here we go. And we can just kind of... Ideally, you don't want to grab that swinging pole, but it's not that big of a deal if you do. Okay, that's kind of unlucky. If you don't fall off, you can jump from that extended little tiny platform diagonally towards the ledge. And you can save a few seconds. And here we just get this. And then this final bronze one. And the gym section is completed. Now we're gonna head on over to the library. And then unfortunately we're gonna have to go back to the pool. So library first.
Are you sure those bullets won't bounce off that thing and put a premature end to my short and promising life?
Hollow points, Alistair. They practically drop straight to the floor. I did promise no repeats of that earlier incident, didn't I?
Kind of makes you wonder what that earlier incident was, doesn't it?
You're not going outside, are you?
Not when there are still so many interesting dark places inside.
Your enthusiasm truly inspires me, Lara.
Don't be sarcastic, Alistair. It's dishonest.
Yeah, alright.
I asked Winston.
He probably thought it was a rhetorical question.
Interesting that Laura heard the entire sentence there and actually replied.
Above the water,
I mean, Alistair
two
probably
sisters turn
heard
their
the
backs,
reply,
one upon the other, to leave their
because
village
they
of
are
silence.
on comms.
Lovely.
Alright, so now that we've gotten that, we can head back to pool area. And here, we just kind of need to climb back to the top. And we have to rotate those statues to give us another clue. And there we go. Now the game lets me. It's easy to forget about these clues, actually. Because one would think you should be able to do this without the clues as well, but
Within the Hall of Knowledge,
it makes sense that
tones
you
of
can't.
cerulean, topaz, viridian, and crimson in turn reveal their arcanum.
So now we're gonna head back to the library. And now these books look a little bit suspicious. That's because we can interact with them now. And we are nearly finished.
Okay, just let me know when.
Above the hearth, revealed visage and countenance touched in haste, raise up the steward. Fun.
So now we're... Oh, that's strange how I actually didn't get that. I thought I did. It made the sound of me getting it, but that's alright. I need a little bit of a spacebar spam.
Risen Athena turns to face the sun, whose burden then reveals her golden laurel. Almost there.
Good night, Lily. Thank you for being here and watching. And there's our final collectible. But first, we still have to get to this one. Oh, come on, Lara. And with that, time now.
Nice, GG. Just under 2 hours.
Thank you. And we did actually get legit 100%.
Hey.
Poggies.